10 most shocking WWE man versus woman moments. I have been asking you guys like about women versus men matches or any kind of like drama interference and stuff like that, because this is the first time when I started watching WWE that today we have some type of a storyline, not really like physical fight between a man and a woman in the ring, but we have Liv Morgan, Dom, and Rhea Ripley, and all of this drama behind it, and it's so entertaining to watch, especially for a woman like me. Like, I love watching these type of things, so that's really entertaining. But I would also love to see more interracial matches. Of course, don't get me wrong, I don't want to see women get injured. I want them to be creative and safe, but also like introduce it in a way. So I'm gonna check out this video, 10 most shocking WWE men versus women moments by Watch WWE. Let's go.
Like the video, subscribe to the channel.
Cena
and
with
turn
no
on
care
those notifications.
whatsoever,
Once
destroying
you're done,
a woman
leave
in
a
the
comment
ring.
down below, and I just
Shame.
might end up responding. Barring Lucha Underground, you really don't see man-on-woman action in the WWE that isn't
Anymore.
overly sexualized. And hey, now that Lucha Underground's pretty much definitely
that
done
too.
for, you really aren't going to see that shit anymore. While WWE's women divisions have been vastly different to each other over the years, the general consensus seemed to be the same. It's not exactly a bueno idea to mix the men and the women. Although, for probably obvious reasons, the Attitude Era loosened those reins on that just a little bit. Yeah, come to think of it, expect mostly Attitude Era. I'm D Wicket, and these are 10 of the most shocking man versus women moments in WWE history. Number 10, an angle slam to China. Expect mostly
China
Attitude...
took a lot,
sorry.
honestly.
Also, if we didn't stretch out this research as much as possible, this could have easily been a mostly China list, to be honest. Considering she's
done
pretty much the
much,
only
man.
female in WWE history to have the trait of openly just beating up any and all men in her path, aside from Nia Jax for like 3 weeks. Yeah, she's pretty easy to shoe into any of these lists. Instead of a whole bunch of China, however, how about a variety hour that features her getting angle slammed by the Olympic hero? Because you know what? I think I could do for one of those.
Why not? It did look painful.
Number 9, Rousey puts H through a table. Here's an example that just feels very WWE. I don't know how to explain it, but there's almost a few different categories these moments are going to fall into, and one of them is the classic, hey guys, women really can do it all, PR-esque feeling moment.
That.
And around to putting the big bad game
I am genuinely against that. I don't like that at all. Like, we can sit down and talk about it, you guys, but this is my opinion. Men are physically stronger than a woman, and woman needs to like deal with it.
Table prior to the WrestleMania intergender tag team encounter definitely is going to edge its way onto that list. Now, she's Ronda pissing Rousey. Obviously, we can believe that she would be able to do this because, I mean, watch the clip. It doesn't even look like Triple H had to help her do the move, but you get the idea.
Okay. She's strong. Hold me like a baby. For a second, you look
Number
like
8,
a small
Becky
baby.
Lynch versus John Cena. Here's another good WWE-esque moment. Again, I'm not exactly sure how to explain the phenomenon, but putting the man over the literal man of the company for the last 15 years or so and letting her "you can't see me" to the champ, it just screams WWE. It's not necessarily a bad thing either. I like this moment a good bit more than the Rousey one I just talked about. Maybe though, that's just because I give a shit about Becky Lynch, and Cena's a far more interesting opponent than H. Maybe that's just
literally
me.
you
this
have
happened
the
on January
picture of
1st,
Cena
2019.
everywhere on your channel.
Literally starting out the year by pitting the two most popular acts of each gender and very clearly showing us which one was going over. Actually pretty well done. Number 7, Kane Tombstones. Linda, man versus woman moments in themselves are just naturally kind of shocking. A lot of people think men fighting women isn't fair, but in reality, there's all sorts of domestic violence going both ways in the world, and in general, people tend to prefer the sexes just fight each other. Again, unless you're...
That is so true. I know he said it really quickly and moved past it, but this is like so sad that people don't talk more about it. There's more, also, like, there's a lot of men. I don't know if statistically if it's more than women, but a lot of men are being also domestically violated against, or I don't know how to say it exactly, by women, you know? And like, that's hypocritical to say that it is just one gender and one-sided. But I feel like that topic that's why he just went briefly through it, because it's really serious topic that we should like take a moment and talk about, you know? But yeah, this is just an entertainment business, so we should not bring that into it.
Lucha Underground, and you don't give an Angelico's flying fuck. Despite this, WWE still love trying to do everything they can to make a moment as shocking as possible when that's their goal. Enter the Big Red Machine with a big bloody red mask and the company owner's wife. I wonder if they'll discuss politics
is it the
over
ex-wife,
tea. Wait, both of these two ended up being legitimate politicians. And it all started here.
That's
now,
true.
isn't that poetic?
But you can see her head is like so
Number 6,
much higher than
DDP
his
attacks
knees.
Sarah Taker. Sure. While a man and a woman fighting will
Is her
usually
name
spark
Sarah?
at least a little bit of controversy, think of all the possibilities when you open it up each time. Think about it. Seriously, think about it. 2 entirely different and diverse rosters of pro wrestlers who could have any and all sorts of in-ring chemistry and do creative storylines and do literally anything you can think of. Man and women, anything. Pro wrestling it's just storytelling with a choreographed mask, and yet sometimes the choreography is shit. DDP versus The Undertaker is a good example of woman being introduced into a man's storyline. It's just a zero success and almost no redeeming qualities. I mean, DDP's diamond cutter looked fine, but did he after this angle? Number 5, Chyna's borderline sexual assault. DDP and Sarah Taker's moment was bad,
Look at
not
Chyna,
because of them, but because of the creative surrounding it. Chyna basically being sexually assaulted by 2 old dudes in the ring is a bit harder of a pill to swallow. I mean, I'm sure she was fine with it, and considering the match was against Pat Patterson and Joe Briscoe, I guess only one of them was getting anything from that, but I digress, and I'm not exactly big on watching old dudes pat Chyna on the ass before grabbing at her tits. For context, though, of the Attitude Era, this took place on the same Raw where Vince and Rock called Kane a little retarded, and Mark Henry threw up after realizing he had a sexual encounter with a transsexual, so I mean, at least it fits the theme.
Oh my god. Today...
Number 4, Trish beats up Vince. Trish is on top,
Poor
and
Chyna,
she's giving it to Vince.
She's such
that
a
is
sad
a real call
story.
from Jim Ross, the greatest commentator we've ever had. For real, though, this is a pretty great little feel-good moment. Trish Stratus, similar to Chyna, honestly could have filled out this entire list on her own, too. From being beaten by chairs with Lita because of Vince to being forced to strip down by Mr. McMahon himself. While Trish has done a lot with the boys and clearly has a lot of frustrations to let loose, particularly ones about Vinnie Mac. Good thing she teamed up with The Rock to take on Vince and Kurt Angle. That's not how intergender matches work, but the Attitude Era doesn't give a shit. And holy hell, did she beat the shit out of that old bastard.
Hell yeah. I think she really loved this. Oh.
Number 3, a one-armed Cena. So... Sometimes
I
we'll get
saw
to
this.
these
He beat her with
classic
one
little
arm,
WWE
yeah.
tropes, so especially from the Diva era, mind you, that shows off just how pathetic a woman must really be in a crisis. Obviously, that's not true, but Jesus, if you watch WWE in the latter 2000s, and especially the first half of the 2010s, if you were a kid, you'd probably think that girls just blew away in the goddamn wind. Umaga just utterly destroying Maria was a pretty solid example, but I think taking one of John Cena's arms, tying it behind his back, and still having him dominate Lita, one of the greatest women's wrestlers of an entire generation, in about 22
Lita
seconds.
is also a tragical story.
That's pretty fucking rough, dude. I mean, hey, at least she got her comeuppance when Edge, Booker T, Finlay, William Regal, and noticeably not Lita all murdered the dude after the match. Cool.
Oh my God!
Ew.
This is absolutely humiliating for John Cena.
Number 2, Bubba Ray Dudley. I mean, really, he in and of himself is kind of a shocking man versus woman moment, since at least 1/8 of his character is just destroying every woman he sets his eyes on. He goes into a trance by murdering women. Dixie Carter got some in a slightly more
really
satisfying moment, but the craziest always lasts, especially when WWE really just wants some straight up insanity. For our car crash television entry, we've got Devon taking Mark Henry on in a match while Bubba goes to the back, finds Mae Young since, you know, the whole Mark Henry hand thing happened. He brings her out to the ring. They finish off Henry with the 3D. They take Mae Young up the ramp, set her down. Devon picks her up, and I swear to God, Bubba Ray started his bully character in 2000 because he grabs her out of Devon's hands, spins around, and power bombs her straight off the stage, straight into a table. What the hell am I watching?
I mean, she's highly medicated, so I don't think she felt a lot.
And number 1, Christopher Jericho and Christian versus Trish Stratus and Lita. Why am I snapping? I've gone over all sorts of shocking moments here. Horrifying ones, insane ones, end of romance ones, and even dominance over women ones. Who could forget? With all sorts of other moments I didn't retread, such as, you know, Stephanie versus Brock, or Stephanie versus her own father in an I Quit match, the question really has to be asked. Has there ever been a good man versus woman match, let alone moment? Well, yes, obviously there's been good moments, but match, there's been Chris Jericho versus Chyna on multiple occasions, but everyone already knows about that one, and aside from that, it's kind of hard to think of one without stretching over to Lucha Underground,
So
but my number 1
That's
is this
what people
entry's
do
titular
anymore?
match, Jericho and Christian against Stratus and Lita, and yes, it is making this list 100% for just being a good man versus woman match. I am so shocked that this actually happened in a tag team match too. WWE's historically not very big on the tag team wrestling, so seeing this is by far the most shocking man versus woman moment ever. It has to be. It was solid action and an even better storyline involving Jericho and Bischoff. This one is actually worth the YouTube search. And I'm going to go ahead and recommend it to you.
Lita's raking the eyes. Lita's raking the eyes. Jericho Lita by the hair.
And those are 10 shocking man versus woman moments. What are your thoughts? Let us know in the comments down below.
My thoughts is that I want to see more of those nowadays as well.
Let's see if actually something like that would be possible. You can honestly tell Kane was trying to make the tombstone as easy as he could for her. Literally, her head like 20 centimeters away from the floor. I always found Chyna was able to receive a move to perfection as much as she could give a move to perfection. But I always preferred Chyna against the men than against the women. She had like the body for it. She was so strong. There is also Jacqueline, who no one ever really brings up. She won a cruiserweight championship at one point, which was held predominantly by men. See, like these women paved the way for what we have today in wrestling for women and all the championships and stuff. Like, they have proving their way, and they have showed you that they do deserve a spot in WWE, and not only just like an accessory and a beauty thing, you know, like they can actually do the sport, fight it, and entertain people. The only reason why I'm here because I saw Brock and Ronda fighting. Okay. Rip Chyna, you were the best female wrestler ever. You will always be missed. Rest in peace, Chyna. Honestly, and it's like such a tragic story too. If you have seen it, I watched like a short documentary about it. Yeah. Let me know, would you like to see today women versus men in wrestling, and in what form would you like to see that? Let's talk about it in the comment down below. If you're interested in more WWE content, I have it on my Patreon, patreon.com/supportbunny. I will leave a link in the description down below. Have a wonderful day. Thanks so much for watching, and see you tomorrow with a brand new video. Bye!